And we are live. I thought that song was going to last a little bit longer than it did. But here we are nonetheless. So let's get going. Today, I'm going to unbox a bunch of stuff that I've been putting off for a while. For no reason other than I don't really have a shelf for Star Wars stuff. And the shelf that I do have, or sorry, I don't have a big shelf. I have a small shelf. It's shared with Transformers. And I have my small amount of Black Series on that shelf, but not really any more room. And so I don't really know where these guys are going to go once they get unboxed. But I didn't do a video last week on Wednesday, and I didn't have anything. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm unboxing. I'm doing some unboxing videos pre-recorded to be posted well soon. What have I got? I'm posting the holiday edition Ewok tomorrow. On Friday I will be posting a video as well for Delta 17. On Saturday I would be posting a collection tour. On Sunday I have a live video, and on Monday I'm going to do a live video as well. So lots of stuff coming up. I took a couple days off live, but I didn't take a couple days off of recording. So I've got quite a bit of stuff. But here is what I'm going to unbox tonight, and possibly a couple more. I've got two more figures sort of up top, just out of view, out of frame there, that I might do as well. The Black Series stuff, as much as I love Star Wars, it doesn't, like, I open it and then it kind of sits on the shelf. So it's not one of the lines that I sort of reach for when I want to play with toys. But they're still really great figures. My rules for Black Series, which I have said before, I collect really only the Mandalorian characters, or characters from the Mandalorian. So if they've appeared in the Mandalorian, they're fair game. And then Endor, anything on Endor. So the Endor figures, and then all versions of Luke Skywalker are fair game as well. So that's my collecting rules, so to speak, for Black Series. They keep being amended, as I sort of max out, something that's, one of those rules or whatever. But they're my rules, and whatever. I'll break them if I want to. Very quickly, just want to say hello to the chat here. Star is hanging out. Sath says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you as well, Sath. Hopefully you had a good year in 2023, and hopefully you have an even better one in 2024. I know I'm quite excited for 2024, toy-wise, at the very least. We'll see how the year goes, but toy release-wise, I think there's some good stuff coming, so I'm excited for that. Star says, I think about how if we had Star Wars figures like this back in the 70s and early 80s, we would have lost our minds. Well, that's kind of part of it, right? Like I don't really buy any vintage stuff anymore. I don't even really collect any vintage stuff anymore. And what vintage I have, for the most part, I'm kind of selling off, because the nostalgia of it is great, but at the same time, these are objectively just way better figures. The articulation is better, the accessories, the sculpting, we got soft goods, on and on and on. These are just objectively better figures. Now, I know people will say, they don't, maybe they don't last as well. They don't last as long or whatever. They're not as durable. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe that's a subjective thing more than anything. Maybe the durability is different for everyone. I mean, there's more moving parts, so they can kind of break more. But I don't know. Is that people sort of seeing vintage figures through rose tinted glasses? Because I think they broke. The paint rubbed off. all that kind of stuff. So Star says what sucks is that if you pass on some because others weren't available, then later the ones missing would come out, but you couldn't get the ones you first passed on. I hate that. Okay, so full disclosure, I passed on Tebow, and I'm kicking myself because I can't seem to track one down. Tebow is the one Black Series figure that I didn't get, and I said this in a video before, and I actually said this in the holiday edition Ewok video. I passed on Tebow. I said I'm not buying Black Series uh, Ewoks until they do Wicket. They did Wicket, and I was immediately sort of on the hunt for Tebow. They re-released Paplu, which I picked up as well. So I was pretty excited about that. But yeah, Tebow is one that I now have to track down. So Master Versal Toy Hunter is here. What's going on, Eldor? Star says, wouldn't this technically be an unblistering as opposed to an unboxing? Sure. And I may just open these in the same way that I used to open toys as a kid, because I'm not keeping any of these cards. I'm not keeping any of the blister packs. So I might not even use a knife to get these guys out of the box, which might make you happy, Star. I may just rip right into these. Master Versal Toy Hunter, for me, it's Rebels, Galactic Civil War, and The Mandalorian. Yeah. Star Wars is so vast, right? It's, you get a whole galaxy far away of figures, and it's hard to kind of keep up. It's hard to you can't have everything. And I know people that are completist Black Series collectors that they've either given up or they're in the process of giving up because it's just getting a little bit out of hand, I think. So Star says, I still hold on to my love as a kid of the original Star Wars trilogy. I have to fight back the disgust I have for Disney's take on Star Wars. That's why I still buy these things. I mean, I get it, Star. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from. And it's not just Star Wars. I kind of have this take on everything. All canon is somebody's head canon, and whoever's sort of in charge of the canon at any given time, it could change, right? Star Wars could change. Somebody else could take over. They could go in a totally different direction with Star Wars, and it might bring you back. I don't know. I mean, I love all Star Wars. I love, I love the idea, the galaxy far away, and the lightsabers and robots and Wookiees and Ewoks and whatever. I love it all. So, Jay is here. What's going on, Jay? He says, toys. Jay says, the new R2 made my honorable mention. I didn't get R2 yet, but I need him now because I'm sort of sitting on everybody but R2 as far as, the team goes. I hadn't opened them, so that's why I kind of didn't jump on that R2. But I'll get that R2 sooner rather than later. Let's see. And Jay, you didn't miss up on Tebow. That's not on you. I didn't get it in the first place. It's really on me. Star says Rogue One was awesome. I'll give Disney that one. Rogue One was really good. Star, did you watch The Creator yet? Just out of curiosity. I watched The Creator the other night, and I was like riveted. I thought it was a fantastically done sci-fi movie. It's like written and directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One as well, and it has a kind of a similar feel. I was very pleasantly not surprised. That's the wrong way to say. I anticipated that it was going to be good, and it was. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. I would strongly recommend it. If you like Rogue One, I think you'll really enjoy it. I think if you just like sci-fi, you're really going to enjoy it. So, Jeff Morris is here. Good evening. I still need to find me a good C-3PO and Chewie. So I was kind of holding out for C-3PO and Chewie, and I think these are maybe the best versions, or at least of what we've sort of gotten so far. At least that's what I've heard. I'd seen complaints about both of these guys in different versions, and the reviews on these were kind of like, okay, this is pretty good compared to what we've had. He's a little too clean. C-3PO is a little too clean. But that being said, I mean, I guess he just had a bath. Like if this is my Endor C3PO, I guess he just had a bath, after Jabba's sail barge kind of thing. So he's probably pretty clean. Um, and then this Chewie is apparently the best that they've done so far. The weird thing is the Return of the Jedi Chewie that they released with the collar around his neck. I don't get, like, I would like that hair, the kind of like center part hair, for Chewie. That his sort of his blow dried Endor look. But that's sort of my only complaint. And this will be fine. This will be a fine stand-in for me. I won't need another Chewbacca after this. I won't need another C3PO after this, right? And again, like, I was waiting on R2 for that very reason. Like, I didn't want to get an R2 that everybody's like, he's okay. And yeah, I mean, Han and Leia in their Endor outfits, and they are outfits. I mean, these are about as close as you get to dolls, right? I mean, they have soft goods on them. So, um, anyway, Master Versal Toy Hunter. Oh yes, I did enjoy the Rebel Moon. Ugh, I watched that too, and I wish I hadn't. Um, no, I give that movie a hard time, but it was fine. It was a I mean, it was a Snyder sci-fi movie. I don't. It was what I expected it was going to be. Um, Star says there are multiple lines of these guys. Is that truthfully just repackaging the same figures over and over? In a lot of cases, yes. I mean, the archive guys are just repacks. He was sold. Like, I think this is actually the Empire Strikes Back version. I don't know what version this is of C3PO, but I like I said, I kind of don't care. I just need a representation of them. I'm not like, oh, he's not screen accurate to Endor, or like, the pattern on this jacket isn't screen accurate, or what. Like, really? I mean, that just doesn't bother me. Um, Jeff Morris, I don't want the Return of the Jedi Chewie. I hate the collar on him. If I find that one I will probably buy it. Yeah, this one's great. I think I think this one's still available. I don't know if eCollectibles still has this guy, but I think this one's still fairly readily available. I could be wrong. Like I said, I've kind of been sitting on him for a while. Just I don't know how long ago I bought him. He's just been in the package for a while. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna open a bunch of figures and have some fun. Should I just start opening stuff while I chat, and I'll just sort of pause as I answer questions? Do you guys want me to go over the packaging on these? I mean, the archive here. Well, I'll do it really quick. The archive collection stuff is like a black and silver package, and then on the back, um, it says, it has like the first version of Chewbacca, which is not this version. Says it was from 2015. I've never looked at the backs of these. It says this is a 2016 version of C3PO. I don't know. I mean, it's a generic bio. It doesn't really say which version of these they are. And then these retro carded, or sort of throwback carded, Return of the Jedi. I didn't even go like full wide shot on these because who cares. But yeah, you get that really great Princess Leia on Endor. And I realized just now that this is the anniversary of Carrie Fisher's passing. So, anyways, she was awesome. I mean, she was our princess, right? So, but these just have that retro sort of throwback look card, where you get, the call out to the other figures. What's that called? There's a name for that. And then a whole bunch of legalese. So that, like I said, these cards don't mean anything to me. I'm just gonna rip these things open and whatever. Elder says, I know what you mean. I took my bits. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I guess. Like, I didn't shut it off. You know what I mean? I watched the whole thing, but meh. Jay's getting Greedo tomorrow. I Yeah, I mean, there's so many. That's the thing. Like I said, Star Wars, the Star Wars universe is just so big that you can't have everything. I can't have all the figures. So, oh, I can't even rip these open. I forgot that they make these cards impossible to rip open. So I'm using a knife. Star, look away. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut the figure. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Or at least I think I do. Try not to do it on camera so that you can't see. Look at that. Look at that very clean, tidy cut. Look at that. Cut the whole thing off. Didn't take any blood. No tears. I think what I'm going to do is cut them all off the card and then sort of get into the figures themselves. So excuse me for the next minute. I will try to keep speaking as I'm doing this so that I'm not incredibly boring. Or more incredibly boring, I guess, is maybe the more appropriate way of saying it. All right, I see the comments. I will get back to the comments. I'm trying to just do this quickly because I feel like this is the most boring part. And I feel like, you know, maybe people aren't as much here for the opening tonight as just to hang out. Because what I'm opening is maybe not the most exciting stuff. I'm going to put the cards up top so they're out of the way. Let's see. Star. Wouldn't just one version of Chewbacca pretty much cover every version? Yeah. Yes, it would. There is, again, like I said, for those who are like really nitpicky, and I know there are people that are very nitpicky. I get it. I appreciate, people's passion for Star Wars. I get it. I'm not as picky. He looks very similar in all of them, but I think his blaster is different. I think the actual suit is different, and so there's subtle differences in terms of shading. Like I said, I think in Return of the Jedi, it almost kind of looks like he has a center part, and what I mean by that is, let me get Chewie out first, and I will. I'll sort of speak to that. And I will take a sip of my beverage too. I get a bit of a dry throat. Okay, but it's the bowcaster blaster, as it were. Now there's probably a right and a wrong way to install this thing. And this is one of those things, right? If you can sort of see here, it's flat on one side and sort of curved on the other side, and I don't know which way it goes. The people that sort of notice things like that would probably instantly know. And if somebody wants to mention it in the chat, if they know one way or the other, which way it's supposed to actually go, feel free to let me know. But that being said, like the bowcaster blaster, I think was slightly different from movie to movie. I think I think this bit got wider. I think it was a little bit narrower in New Hope, if I'm not mistaken. It might have had a slightly different shape as well. And then Chewbacca himself, there's variations or sort of versions where like he's much darker, almost like a gray black. I think Return of the Jedi, he's almost like a gray black more than like a light brown, dark brown. And as I said, in Return of the Jedi, see how it sort of goes straight back and over, and it's like a he's got a dome head. I think in Return of the Jedi, he has more of like a center part, and so it's less of a dome and more like there's a like an M to his like his head, if that makes sense. But that's the kind of difference that I'm talking about. Like it's not a big difference at all. Sort of when you take all of it into consideration. And his fur is like tucked under here. He's got a huge, I don't know if you could see it. You see how big the ball joint is for his ankle. You're not going to be able to because it won't catch the light properly there. You got a big old ball joint for his ankle, and the fur actually is sculpted to go over his foot, which is really, really cool. It's a very interesting way to do it so that you get a very nice look. It's a very clean look to that to him. Man, he is really big, which is appropriate because he's, really, really big. But yeah, so to answer your question, Sar, I'm fine with one version of Chewbacca, but there were nuanced differences to those who really, there's people that need the Bespin Chewbacca. There's people that need a New Hope Chewbacca. There's people that need Endor Chewbacca. I would, if they did an Endor Chewbacca, I might consider buying it, but probably not. I'd probably just keep this one. Star says, I think that the character's Endor looks are arguably the best, at least for me. I like the combat camo, but yeah, and I absolutely love Return of the Jedi. It is my favorite Star Wars movie. Still to this day, it's my favorite piece of like Star Wars, entertainment. And I don't foresee that ever changing. As I've said before, when I was a child, about 5 years old in kindergarten. Hold on. My after-school childcare was a lovely woman. I think her name was Joyce, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I would walk there after kindergarten, and she mostly took care of younger kids. The reason that I went there is because it was within walking distance of my school, and my younger brother, who's 2 years younger than me, she took care of my younger brother, so it was easy for my parents to pick us both up at the end of the day from the same place. As I was older than all the other kids that they took care of, they basically said, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And they said, well, do you want to just sit in this dark basement and watch a movie? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that movie was Return of the Jedi. And I think I watched that movie every day. That was my introduction to Star Wars. Return of the Jedi was my Star Wars for a long time. I watched the movies in reverse order. I saw Return of the Jedi first, followed by Empire Strikes Back, followed by A New Hope. And I didn't see A New Hope for a long time. Like between the first time I watched Return of the Jedi and the first time I watched New Hope, um, was was probably 10 years or something like that, give or take. I mean, I don't really know that, but it felt like it was a long time between them. So um, I feel like that's just what C-3PO does, right? He just stands like that all the time. All the time. Let me adjust this camera very quickly. Try to still get Chewie. There, that'll do. But yeah, Return of the Jedi was it, man. And I didn't, I was young. It wasn't like I wasn't reading the reviews of any of it. I didn't know that there was people that didn't like the Ewoks. I still can't believe that there's people that don't like the Ewoks. How could you not like the Ewoks? They're awesome and amazing and adorable, and shame on you. I feel like if you don't like the Ewoks, you might not have a soul, because they're adorable little cannibal bears. But anyway, that's I guess that's neither here nor there. I love them. I love the Ewoks. I love Endor. I think to to the point that you're making, the Endor versions for me were the iconic ones because they're the first ones that I ever saw. They were the first ones that I ever knew, and will always be, the ones that mean the most to me. So yeah, if you don't like Return of the Jedi, kick rocks. No, I apologize. I don't mean that. You don't have to do that. Star, too late. I already did it. I used the knife, and I used a big knife. Well, it's not that big. I used the same one that I always use. Anyways. Jay says Chewbacca is the best Star Wars character. I love Chewbacca. I love the Wookiees. I love, like, when there's Wookiees in the lore that aren't Chewbacca. I'm always excited to see more Wookiees. Yeah, I love Chewbacca. Elder says Chewie looks to be a nice big figure there, going off the size of the Black Series. Yeah, I mean, what else do I have? Let me compare him to like a Mythic Legions figure. He's big, like he's really big. That's a Mythic Legions figure, and he's bigger than that. So, that's not gonna go back in the shelf very easily. Okay, he's going over there for now. Yeah, very big figure, very cool figure. The one from the Han Solo movie is neat with the goggles. Yeah, that's a good. I really like the Han Solo movie too. I didn't have an issue with that whatsoever. I didn't feel like anything was retconned or sort of. I don't think they did Han dirty in that at all. I think that it's not going to be for everybody. I understand like why people kind of get their hackles up, for like, oh, he's called Solo because he was by himself or whatever. Like that's I actually thought it was kind of clever, like it was kind of very appropriate for Han, in my opinion. But the curved side faces the front. Yeah, the curved side faces the front, but the like up or down. Do you know what I mean? Like this doesn't look right. So the like I know this. Like I know that it's curved that way because it plugs in. But I've got the top side of this part flat, but I don't know. Can you see what I mean? Like this top is a straight flat edge, and the bottom edge has a curve to it, like it slopes up. But I don't know if there's. I mean, I'll take a look at a picture when I'm done, see if I can see anything. Han is the only one who shot the bowcaster in the original trilogy. Wait, what? That's not true, is it? Is that right? Didn't Chewie fire it on Bespin? Didn't he? When they're running away from the stormtroopers? Wait, didn't he fire it in New Hope too when they're running away from stormtroopers? I got to go back and watch them again just for that. Star, I think Chewie was at his best when we first met him in the bar in Star Wars. He just stands there quietly looking awesome watching you. Later he seems more like an annoying dog who never shuts up. No, he's not. He's awesome. He has a long storied history. Chewbacca's backstory is like pretty incredible. And pretty cool. He has like a wife and a kid and all that kind of stuff. So Jay says hippie Chewbacca in Return of the Jedi. Yep. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. Jay, objectively, I think Empire Strikes Back is probably the best movie of the trilogy. But it's not the one that I saw in that basement so many times. Let's see. Let's see. Ewok is Wookiee backwards. No, it's not. It's close. Let's see. Yes, Jay says Return of the Jedi was originally going to be the Wookiees instead of the Ewoks. Yes, it was originally going to be Kashyyyk. It was going to be the Wookiees, but they're not cute enough, so they decided not to go that route. There was another reason. I feel like there was another reason too, but I can't remember. Let's see. Yeah, Mark Hamill mentioned it, but Chewie is actually naked. Yes, yeah. And Star says Chewie shot on Endor. He shot down a biker scout. They had stormtrooper guns, says Jay. Oh, you're right, actually, because they, in A New Hope, they had stormtrooper guns because they were on the Death Star. Were they on the Death Star? Yeah, right? Or they were in a... Where were they? Why can't I remember anything? Oh, man, it's been like a whole year since I watched them, and now I can't remember. Eldor says Han fires it in Force Awakens. Yes, and I really like that part. Jay says Grumpy is his son. Yeah, that Christmas special, man. I mean, there's some good stuff in there. The Life Day stuff on Kashyyyk. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hate it, but there's it's pretty weird. Yeah. He looks a little more butch in Shadows of the Empire in his bounty hunter outfit. That's true, actually. When he gets a little bit of armor. Shadows of the Empire was great, wasn't it? Jeff says, I watched the Star Wars Holiday Special this year for the first time. It was something. It's great. The Holiday Special, the Life Day Special, I enjoy it, man. I don't know why people give it a bad rap, but I think it's fun. For the scene where he shoots the speeder bike, shoots the guy off the speeder bike. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, exactly. It was on the Death Star. Chewie had been bound as a prisoner. Yeah, and so that when they were sort of breaking out of the cell block, obviously they wouldn't have his bowcaster because if he was a prisoner, he wouldn't have had a weapon with him. So funny, I remember the scene with them running, but open more toys. Yeah, sure, let's do it. I've also got Axe Woves and this Grief Karga. So I'm gonna open these too because why not? If you guys have any questions about these guys, feel free to ask. I will be happy to answer them. They are Star Wars Black Series figures. If you have one, you probably have a pretty good idea of what they're about, because there's nothing crazy. I mean, if this was like some sort of import figure and people didn't have them or whatever, I'd be happy to go in more depth. That's part of the reason that I did these, right? Is because not only are these older figures at this point, but Black Series is one of those things where like they're not the greatest figures anyway. They're not like, nobody's opening Black figures right now and going like, holy, you got to check this out. This thing is like the latest and greatest, blah, blah, blah. That's just not what they're doing with Black Series. Sadly, I mean, all right, I'm doing Axe Wolves. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing as I did. Well, no, I'll just get them all the way out. So Axe Wolves is like one of these characters, and it was sort of like, I didn't open Axe because he's kind of a bitch. But I got Bo-Katan, I got Casca, so I was like, well, you gotta get all three, I guess, right? And then Griff, I didn't get the first version of Griff, the one, the first appearance on Navarro, because that weird cape thing on one side just looked weird, and I didn't like it, so I didn't get the figure. But there you go, Griff Karga, Carl Weathers. It's you know what? It's a decent likeness. It's not the worst I've seen. And the figure itself is okay. Plastic capes, whatever. Take them or leave them. How am I supposed to get this into this? Like, how do you sneak it in here? Here we go. A lot of the Black Series stuff, like I said, just sits on my Black Series shelf. It doesn't get much attention. And that is 100% going to be true with Griff Karga Magistrate outfit, I think is what they call this one. There he is. He'll stand over here. He'll stand in the back because he's boring and lame. Axe Wolves, these Mandalorian figures are just fun. I mean, I like Mandalorians. The armor, I like that it's, each one of them is a little bit different, a little bit unique. This piece is actually like a floating piece. It's like a secondary. There's a base figure underneath there. I wonder if it's the same like base body as like Boba Fett or something like that. Like, I wonder if all the Mandalorian armored figures share some some tooling and stuff. I suspect that there's a reason that it's floating and not sculpted, and that's probably it. But they they look cool. The Mandalorian. Oh, excuse me. Oh, geez. The Mandalorian armor looks cool, and so I was happy to get all three. The other two look great. The Bo-Katan figure is a really nice figure. This guy is also gonna go on the shelf, and that'll be it. This helmet is really loose. The other ones fit really nicely, but that one, meh. And that stripe is not printed very well. You see that? I don't know. It like, you kind of have to see it in 3D. It's like it's shifted where it should have been printed, I think. Oh, you can see on the front. Like, if you just look at the front, See how like it's supposed to be parallel to his visor, and it's definitely not. Which, nah, whatever. Black Series, huh? Black Series is fine, but again, like I said, this is part of the reason that it didn't really go anywhere from my shelf is because they're okay figures, but they're not great, and you I don't know, they're fine. Um, yeah. Star, do these have weapons that fit into their holsters? That's almost a must for me. Yes, absolutely. I just put Axe Woves in. I just put Griff Karga's in. Leia's pistol will fit in a holster that she's got. Han's pistol will fit in a holster that he's got. However, in the case of both of those figures, I'm actually going to put the weapon in their hand. Chewbacca is going to get the same. Because that's what I do. I should just put it in the holster and be done with it because it's not like they're doing much else. Jay, I got Black Chrysanthemum, R2, and Jedi Luke this year. I didn't get that Jedi Luke. I have a couple other Jedi Lukes, but that one I actually kind of like. I might still pick it up, but Jeff Morris, I still like Black Series figures. They're not perfect, but look nice enough if I can find them at a good price. Yeah, and that's the thing is that like I got the Ewok Village Leia as well, but like that's the only version of Han that I have. Sorry, my hands. I get all the versions of Luke, but I only wanted kind of one version of the crew of the main crew, and I decided on the Endor version. For reasons that I explained. And I already had Luke, so I guess I can get Luke in here too. I already had Luke, and I already had the AWOKs, the Ewoks. I do have AWOK figures too, but yeah, there you go. Like I'll bring these guys. Why not? Get some Ewoks here as well. The Endor stuff, I just love the Endor stuff because I love Return of the Jedi and I love the Ewoks. And there they are. Oh, and I just opened this guy the other day. I'll put him in here too because why not? I'm gonna post the video. I did an unboxing for this guy. I'm gonna post that video tomorrow. Jay says no cape with Luke was cheap. There is versions with the cape, I think so. Star, the Black Series Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader figure is spectacular. It's my second favorite after the new SHF Kenobi series Vader instant classic. I have that one. And they are on my he is on my shelf, posed up next to Bespin Luke. That is my favorite lightsaber. Well, I really like the Return of the Jedi one, but I that battle, that the Bespin, battle between Vader and Luke, where Vader is just like so overpowered compared to Luke, and Luke just has no idea what he's gotten himself into. I just love that whole lightsaber battle. He's just so bad with his lightsaber, and I mean, like, I've done a bit of kendo, and I know that was like the basis for their lightsaber battles, their sword fighting, at least in the original trilogy. Because it had that sort of Asian feel to it or whatever, and it was just it's simple. You can get basic techniques and stuff like that. But Luke's technique is like so rudimentary. It's so bad. And Vader is just very, very clean. It's just very precise. And yeah, I love that battle. Karga's a pylon. Yeah, he is. Star, and these robes aren't those cheap plastic capes from the 70s that tear away if you play with them too much. No, I mean they'll hold up. But they just look bad. They just look pretty crummy. Um, does anyone else here prefer the original Boba Fett voice from the original trilogy besides myself? I hate that they made him a clone. Um, I don't like that they made him a clone. Um, I would have been happier if Boba Fett remained Boba Fett and we didn't, know anything more than what we did after the end of Return of the Jedi. Um, that being said, I mean, I'm in the minority that enjoyed Book of Boba Fett, but yeah, I mean, I would have been very happy if they never did any of that stuff. So. Jay, Andor had great action. Absolutely, it did. Yeah, is that a zombie Ewok? Do you mean this one? No, this is the Hasbro holiday edition Ewok. They did all the the Christmas figures, and I had to get the Ewok. And then what I realized is I'm pretty sure they did a Wookiee. Like I'm pretty sure they repainted that Chewbacca in this colorway last year. And now I want to track that one down and start like a holiday collection of the Star Wars Holiday Black Series figures. Um, Allison Troy is here. What is going on, Alice? She says some nice looking heroes of Andor, especially loving that Leia today. Yes, and I did mention that sadly this is the anniversary of her passing, and it was I went back and forth about whether I wanted to open that one, and I think it was a figure that I had packaged for a long time that I hadn't opened, and I thought it was sort of only right to open that figure. And it's a phenomenal figure. Like the sculpt work, the likeness is really, really good on that. So Jay, I need the white Ewok. It's a great figure. Um, how many Ewoks would it take to take on Chewbacca? Interesting question. I don't think it would take as many as people think. It is going to be my answer, and here's why. I think the Ewoks are vicious little killers, and I think people don't take them seriously enough. And you know, when you got blasters and things like that, you could take them out. But one on one, or in I guess the case of the Ewoks, 2-on-1 or whatever, two maybe three, I think could easily take down Chewbacca. Think about like tigers taking down big game or whatever, right? It doesn't take many if they're all working together. So, um, you're an Arctic Ewok. Yeah, that's kind of how I looked at it too. It's sort of like maybe he just lives in a different region, and maybe that's just like that's sort of the coloration of the Arctic Ewoks. Um, you're gonna need some gingerbread clone troopers. I don't want those gingerbread clone troopers, but I do want those Nutcracker troopers. I would love to get a couple of those. I didn't because they just didn't fit in the budget, and I didn't know that I was gonna I didn't know that I would get this one and then want that Wookiee, and so I didn't buy any of the others. But we'll see. Um, Star, I wonder if the Tradoshans know about the Ewoks might make for some nice rugs. It's possible. What? What? How many 8 years could you take out before they overwhelmed you? Hoth walk? How many 8-year olds could you take out before? Oh man. Yeah, I guess. Is that yeah, but they're strong. Not 8-year olds. Ewoks. 8-year olds are weak. You can take out a ton of 8-year olds. Um like a lot. Trust me, I've taken up multiple at once. Not in a like they're all fine. They recovered. But yeah. All right, that's 50 minutes. I've got these guys. Any more questions about these guys? Anybody? What do you guys want to chat about? You guys want to chat about anything else? I'm gonna put some weapons in holsters. You know what? I'm gonna put weapons in holsters because why not? Um, they do such a nice job of actually designing these holsters for these weapons specifically. I think. Let's find out. Prove me wrong, Han, old boy. Nope, fits in there nice. Ish. Yeah, fits nice. They have these little rubber pegs all the time on these holster things, and they just never fit properly. That one fit fine. Axe had one that didn't fit very well, but underneath he's got the vest. Like it's like a proper figure, underneath the jacket. And then you just get the bonus of the soft goods, which I think is a bonus. I mean, I guess not everybody appreciates these super cheap soft goods, but I do. And I'm going to knock everybody over as I put the weapons in hands, or just the zombie Ewok. I'm going to go over there. There you go. But yeah, this Leia, I'm going to put her helmet on too because I can, because it's there. Like I said, really nice sculpt. I think now, Allison Troy, you're here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think what they did is they used Carrie Fisher's daughter to get this sculpt, and it definitely looks like a strange hybrid between the two of them. But yeah, it's a very nice sculpt. It looks really good, and the figure again, you get the full costume underneath the soft goods, and then the soft goods are kind of like a nice bonus. She's got the holster. Pistol will slip into the holster very nicely, just like that. And then we get the helmet, which, look at that. The strap is undone, or it can be undone. So you don't have to force it on. I don't know how you'd get it on if that strap was not like that, actually, now that I think of it. So, but yeah, as I said, just a really good figure, really nice figure. Definitely one that I'm happy to have in the collection. Let's see if she'll stand up. Now, Chewie's got to hold his weapon because, to be honest, he can't carry it. So, Allison Troy, it looks like it's a meld of Billy Lord and Carrie from The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, it definitely looks like that. I got that vibe instantly as well. That there's a little bit of Billy in there for sure, which I'm okay with. It's and trying to get this bowcaster into Chewie's hand is going to be a nightmare because it's got this sort of open part and a closed part and a big giant fist of a big Wookiee fist. Ugh. All right, there we go. It's in there. It's definitely it's definitely not in there great, but that's okay. Oh, he's a big boy. That is a big Wookiee. All right, you stay there. All right, let's see. Allison, Billy didn't reply to me when I asked her about that on Instagram, but I can't blame her. I'm just some weirdo asking her about her mom and digital scanning her face. Yeah. Star, I tried to pick up a broom-handled Mauser just to say that I had a Han Solo blaster, but really expensive. Yes, I've heard that. And I've heard it's largely because it's largely because of Star Wars fans trying to buy them to have Han Solo's blaster. Jay says, "What Black Series are you looking forward to in the new year?" I don't know. I don't even know what's coming from Black Series in the new year. Is it still a line? It's not canceled yet. What's coming from Star Wars? Is there more Ewoks coming? Is there more Return of the Jedi stuff? Because if there is, I'll pick that stuff up. But other than that, yeah. Jay, I still want the yellow leader droid from the yellow loader droid from Obi-Wan. Yeah, the big bulky guy. I can't remember what his name is. I you know what? I thought that was a cool figure and I would have picked it up. If I thought that I could fit it in somewhere else other than Black Series. But I just couldn't really find a spot for it. Jason, she kisses her brother. She didn't know, to be fair. It's not her fault. The Endor soldier is awesome, but $50, no thanks. Yes, indeed. If that figure goes down to, but that's a tough one because it's, if you get one, you may as well get two, right? And so it would have to be under 30 for me to even think about picking it up, unfortunately. I would rather get a couple speeder bikes and scout troopers for Endor and a couple stormtroopers than the Endor troopers, to be honest, because the Endor troopers don't do anything. They get them in, but they don't get them in enough or out. So, Allison, it's the best face sculpt we've had since the Kenner 12-inch figure of 1978. I'll take it. I think it's a good face sculpt. I think it's a good looking figure. I think the Ewok Village Leia looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit more like Carrie Fisher, in my opinion. But this one is really, really nice. The Vintage Collection Bespin Escape Leia is very, very close, but the Black Series Return of the Jedi stuff edges it out slightly. Yeah, the Bespin outfits for the gang were another sort of set that I had considered that I would like. But this Leia is so much better. That Bespin Leia is just like kind of boring, unfortunately. And I mean Chewbacca. I mean I already have Chewbacca, so if I did end up doing the Bespin stuff, um, Han in the jacket. I have Bespin Luke already. I have him. If I get R2, I only need those. I only need Han and Leia really to have the Bespin set. Maybe I'll pick them up at some point. Eldor, I had a good Ewok collection of the vintage collection before I sold those just to focus on the Black Series figures, but I wished Hasbro kept to the original square box packaging. Packaging doesn't really mean anything to me. The Ewok collection I had, so I didn't have many Star Wars figures, like vintage Star Wars figures, but I had 3 or 4 Ewoks. I don't even remember which ones. I think I had Wicket, Logray, Tebow, and then one other, and I can't remember what the other one was. I'm really, like I said, I would really like to get that Tebow. I hope they would make Logray. They could Ewoks is one where if they were like, this is an Ewok that we created just for the Black Series, I'd be like, bring it on. I will buy a new Ewok every time you make a new one. And not just like a repaint, but like if they sculpted a new figure kind of thing. The Mandalorians have a lot of exposed areas around their armor. Why are they never taking blaster hits there? Good question. I don't know. Before they changed the packaging to an egg. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I get what you mean. When they were more of a standard box shape. Yeah. Big Wookie Flat. Big Wookie Fiat was my band's name in high school. Those Mausers are not easy to find. No, they are not. Let's see. George Lucas didn't even know until one of the last drafts of the Return of the Jedi scripts. Didn't know what? I think I missed something there. Jay, do you need a dewback stormtrooper? I have two and don't need two. I'm honestly, I've been looking at that dewback as like a mount for like a couple other lines. So yeah, we'll talk. I would definitely take a dewback. Because also because I think the dewback's really cool. I need Leia in her Bespin gown for Black Series. That would be a good one. And then I have every Leia outfit in Black Series and can just cherry pick Padme and droids. Star says, I keep wanting to see some stormtroopers painted up in camo for their Endor mission. Seems like a no-brainer to do that. They did it on Kashyyyk in episode 3. What gives? Um, um, I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's down to, I think that's got to just be down to the fact that in the original trilogy, they weren't really thinking about stuff like that. That's all I can think of. Also, maybe the Empire, their hubris. I mean, look, they put their troopers in all white. So, I think there's a pride there. Maybe they didn't go camo because that just that's the rebels dress in camo. The Empire is all in white. Breck is here. What's going on, Breck? How's it going, my friend? Late, and I get to see the Rebel Award ceremony, more or less. Yeah, it definitely. I wish. What I want for Black Series is the little drums, the Ewok drums of all the helmets. Maybe they were heads. There were heads. They ate them. But the helmets from all the Imperial droids and that little drum from the little celebration they have. Oh, Elder, I'm an inbox collector. I don't apologize to me. I feel sorry for you. So I like the uniformity of the original packaging. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, yeah. Okay. Luke and Leia were brother and sister. Luke's sister was a brand new character until late in the writing. Yes. Yeah. Brick says the dewback is perfect for Mythic Legion goblins. Yes, I was thinking of something along those lines. It's just cool. Are dewbacks native to Tatooine? I believe they are. To the best of my knowledge, it's the only place we've seen dewbacks in Star Wars, which doesn't mean that they couldn't exist somewhere else, if they had been transported there. But yeah. Let's see. Yes, yeah, there were camo clone troopers. We did see them on Kashyyyk. And I absolutely loved them. I thought they looked so good. And in Star Wars lore, there's like other camo troopers, like they like different places they had different camo. They have a snow trooper. He's in white, which is appropriate. But yeah, I mean, they're almost all in white, right? The Death Troopers, some of the troopers they have in black. But yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not stormtroopers? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like that they're just always in white. Like I think that's like it's absurd, right? Like that's part of it for me is that it's absurd that they would always just be in white. No matter where they are, they're always in the same outfit. But anyway. Luke's sister kisser. They both liked it too. So I don't know. Anyways, all right. So we're at an hour and 5 minutes. That's about as long as I wanted to go tonight. I got one more thing to do, an unboxing video for that I got to record tonight, and then and then call it an evening, I think. Back to work. I had a couple days off, but that's the end of it. Now, coming up on the channel, as I said, tomorrow I will be releasing the unboxing video for this little murder bear. On Friday, I've got an unboxing for Delta 17. On Saturday, I will be posting my 2023 collection tour video. If you want to see my modest collection in my pretty messy office, check that out. On Sunday, I've got Highly Articulated. I'm going to be doing my top 10 figures of 2023. And then on Monday, a bonus live episode, I am going to be doing my most anticipated figures for 2024. So I'm going to end 2023 with the top figures, and I'm going to start 2024 with my most anticipated figures. So I thought, I didn't really know. I didn't know how to fit them into the schedule, and so I just kind of shoehorned them all in there right at the end of the year. So it's gonna be fun. Okay, it's Wednesday night. I don't know what my top 10 are yet. I genuinely don't. I have a long list. I'm at about 20, and I'm having a hard time kind of eliminating figures. So maybe I'll do like a top 17 in the end. I'll be like, these are my top 17 figures of 2023. But that would be chaos, so I don't think I want to do that. Jay says cocky to wear white. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's like the Empire is just kind of like, we can do what we want, you know? Yeah. When do we get more AWOC talk with you and Brick? Well, we did a video last week, which was pre-recorded. AWOC talk. We still have one video in the bank in the can, but it's that's up to Brick when that one gets posted. We'll get back to it soon enough. I mean, regular scheduled broadcasts. We'll get back on track. There's some circumstances just outside of our control, and sort of life happens, and things don't always work out as easily and as well as we would like, and some things are more important than this. I hate to say that, but sometimes there's priorities where we can't we just can't do everything that we'd like. I don't want to speak for Brick, but I mean, for me personally, I wish I could do live videos every day, and recorded videos, and just have tons of stuff, but it just doesn't work like that. So AWOC lower on deck. Yes. Oh, and I didn't even tell Brick this yet. But the more lore is coming, and issue 5 is just about done. And when it is, we'll be sure to sort of keep going on the comic book side of things too. And yeah, I mean, Brick and I want to do more stuff. It's that it doesn't always work out. Schedules don't always work out. Other stuff's happening in life. Other stuff's going on. We don't have issue 5, so Brick and I are kind of stalling. Also, to be honest, that's part of it. Is that like we don't want to get to a point where we're sort of like at the end, and then people are like, "Well, I guess they're done." But there's more to come for sure, and we've got more to talk about. So what's going on, Ken? I was just saying I got my Delta 17 video that I will be posting on Friday, because you've changed the date. I'll message you about that. I got a Delta 17 video that I was sitting on, that January 5th was the date, the sort of embargo date or whatever, but it seems like it's been moved up to Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and post that on Friday if Ken gives me the thumbs up on it. So let's see. Have I gotten everything? Did I get everything? Let's see. Yeah, the long-awaited issue 5. I mean, I can't, man, I can't wait. I need it. I need it. Feels like it's been forever since issue 4. Um, Ken says sorry for the illiterate bios on those card backs. Well, they're fine. They're fine. Wish we could get some Black Series Alien and Predator. I mean, there's some good Aliens and Predator figures though, isn't there? Like, aren't the NECA ones pretty good? I've heard that they're pretty good. Anyway, Jay, you son of a bitch. AWOC should make a comic. Yeah, based on the AWOC talk videos that Brick and I do. They should use what we talk about as the premise for their comic book. Anyways. Sad music begins. That means the episode is over. This music isn't sad, it's upbeat. As Brick said, it's got a bounce to it. Anybody that says otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. It's been a blast. As I say every single time, it's always more fun to open toys with friends. And, you know, it was fun to have you guys hanging out, chatting Star Wars, chatting Rebel Moon, chatting AWOC, talking about what's going on, what's coming up. Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, this is obviously going to be, you know, the last open late of 2023. So a lot of you guys are here sort of every time I open figures, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. I really do mean it. Like, this is way more fun for me to do. I end up opening a lot more toys live. Like, I look forward to opening up toys live because of you guys. So thank you for joining me. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I appreciate you as well. I understand that, you know, not everybody can sort of hang out live on the date and the time that I do this. So I appreciate you in the replay as well. Until next time. Yup, nup. Bye-bye.